Growing up, my parents said that, study, because studying and education was ticket to a good life. And I am a Miss Goody Two Shoes, so I listened to my parents and I studied sales and marketing because, sales and marketing people become CEOs in all companies. So now I want to do sales and marketing. And my dad said, no, sales is not a career for a woman. You will get transferred every 3 years, and when you have a family, it will be very difficult and nobody will want to marry you. So I've had comments like, oh, you cracked that role because they were looking for a woman. Oh, you got this new job.
Especially in tech, right?
Yeah, it must be a diversity position that they were looking for. And it's very hurtful.
Yes.
And of course, it was all because someone took a chance on me. I still remember when I was in that interview, I told my hiring manager, are you sure you want to hire me? Because I know only sales and marketing tech. I really don't know the entire. And he said, yeah, we're pretty sure. And that's the skill we were looking for. So sometimes I think as women, we want to be really 100% ready. Yeah. They say women can have it all. I also believe women can have it all, but not at the same time. When I was starting out, I remember one of my mentors said, don't worry, career is long term, it is 40 years. It's difficult to see when you're starting out, but yes, really career is long term. And it's funny that you will see when women talk about their achievement, they always say, my team helped me to achieve it, and my manager helped me, and I had so many allies. But when men talk about their achievements, they say, I did it.
What comes to our mind when we think of FMCG? Lot of advertisements, branding, marketing, sales. But there's something that is really critical that brings all those products to our homes. And that is information technology. Today, we are very pleased to welcome Srimoyee Ghosh Dastadar, Chief Digital Transformation Officer, Emerging Markets, L'Oreal. Hi Srimoyee. Welcome.
Hi. So nice to see you.
So nice to have you with us.
I'm glad too.
Good that you made it.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to the drive?
Yes, it's a new concept. I'm interested to experience it.
Great.
So should we go?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
So Srimoyee, you have a stellar career so far, right? And we've seen the highlights of your career. We've been speaking about it. But what is the backstory of who you are?
I grew up in a very middle-class family in Calcutta, and my dad was a manager in a bank. My mom was a homemaker initially. She started working when I was 10. And very, very middle-class family. I was told.
Are you the only child?
Only child of my parents. Only grandchild of all my grandparents. So very pampered, under a lot of focus. There were many eyes on me when I was growing up. Growing up, my parents said that, study, because studying and education was
Non-negotiable.
No, it was the ticket to a good life.
Okay.
And I am a Miss Goody Two Shoes, so I listened to my parents and I studied.
Good.
My dad used to work in a bank, and as you know, banks were the first in our country to get digitized. So when I was growing up in the 90s, he saw that whole IT revolution happening at his workplace, and he imagined that, if my daughter one day works in IT, it will be a comfortable life for her, because the server room in the bank was the only room which had AC.
Oh my God! Like really? Yeah, amazing. So see, he was worried about your comfort from day one, but did that come true? Did you hold true to that fact of what he wanted?
Yes, I think parents really shape you, shape your career, and I remember, after my engineering, or when I was doing my engineering, I was preparing for my CAT exam.
Yeah.
And, and by that time I figured that, I need to do a master's to have a fast track career. And I was doing some research, and, I told my dad, I want to do finance. And he said, but how are you going to compete against, the CAs, the CFAs, and the people who have a background, when you go to your B school, you won't be competitive. So it won't be a career for you. So I said, okay, fine. I went back to the drawing board and I said that, okay, now I want to specialize in sales and marketing, because, sales and marketing people become CEOs in all companies. So now I want to do sales and marketing.
Yeah.
And my dad said, no, sales is not a career for a woman. You will get transferred every 3 years. And when you have a family, it will be very difficult and nobody will want to marry you.
Marry you? Oh my
Nobody,
God, right
oh
up till
gosh.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
By
no,
the way,
sales.
we are going to be breaking a lot of that thought in our episodes. In
I'm
the podcast.
so glad.
Yeah.
So he said, no, sales and marketing is not for girls. And I then went back to the drawing board, did some research, and I came back to him and said, now I want to specialize in HR, because HR is for girls and, this looks safe. And my dad said, what HR? No HR, you have a background of foundation in IT, you're going to specialize in that.
You're becoming an engineer, so you can't
Yes,
do HR.
Oh,
yes.
gosh.
So that's how I think I ended up in a tech career. And
What a journey.
yeah, so from server room AC and careers not suitable for girls or lacking foundation, here I am,
To a career over many continents.
to a career over many continents.
Great. So
Yes.
your career in tech has been mostly FMCG, right? And
Yes.
you did tech for sales, tech for marketing, and then now you've diversified into another sector. So how is that been for you? What were the pivots along the way?
There were many pivots along the way, and I'm really grateful that at different points of time, many people, many men and women took bets on me. And that's how, I am here today. So I joined a large FMCG from campus, from B school, and I spent about 7 years there. From there, I moved to another, MNC, which was at that time setting up their Global Capability Center in India. And Global Capability Center is a big thing in tech.
Yeah.
And everyone I
That's the
spoke.
boom in India, right?
India is the biggest one of the biggest geographies of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And growing every day.
Yes, and I was looking at some NASSCOM study, and the latest study says we have more than 2,000 such, GCCs today in
Wow.
India. So I joined that kind of a setup to understand more how it works back in 2015, 10 years ago. And it was a great learning experience. I worked again, on what my foundation was, on sales and marketing, roles in IT, to implement tech for the sales and marketing function. And with that, with the two companies, I had already spent like 12 years in my career. And then, I was thinking, when am I ever going to become a CIO? And maybe this is the right time to try. And
You're always ambitious, right?
I mean, clearly, because if you look at it, she wanted to do an MBA so that she could crack the biggest jobs in banking.
Yeah.
Or she said,
Yes.
no, I'll do sales and marketing because
And
those
become
are
a
the
CEO.
people who become
Yeah.
CEOs. How
Yeah.
many
Possibly,
people
yes.
think that in their early 20s?
Yeah.
So there's no question that Srimuyi was born ambitious. So,
Great.
yes.
no, but I really don't think so. I think I kind of started figuring out the next step as I got along in my career. Things started to become
Yeah.
more clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they continue to become clearer every day, as I progress. So 12 years had passed. I was in my second job in a very big multinational FMCG, and I was doing well. So I applied for the role, which was the South Asia CIO for that multinational. And, it's a very prestigious role in that company. I think the last lady who was doing that role, she was ET 40 under 40
Wow,
and all
wow.
of that. So very prestigious role, and you know, I got shortlisted, and I think yes, you know,
I cracked it.
I cracked it, and there, you know, I am going to be the next one. And of course, you know, I didn't make it. So
Setback.
setback. And you know, then I tried to introspect that why didn't I make it? You know, I am so high flying. I thought at that moment I know everything, but I figured, you know, in my first 12 years of my career, I had actually focused on digitizing sales and marketing processes. You know, that was my expertise, and I never really looked at how tech works across the entire value chain. I didn't know that. And
It was function specific, your experience.
yes,
was.
yes. So I was more like a I-shaped career, not really a T-shaped career. So I needed to build breadth.
Okay.
And that's
Interesting.
when I realized that, you know, I need to really build breadth. And I was thinking that what is the most optimum way to build breadth, because, you know, in tech, the first thing you are taught or coached on is optimization. How can tech bring process
Efficiency gains
simplification, simplicity, efficiency?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what's the efficient way of doing this? And if I tried to learn all the different functions in a big MNC, possibly it's going to take me until retirement to know everything, because, you know, it's such a huge company. And, you know, at that point, I got an opportunity to work with the Indian FMCG, a quite large Indian FMCG, but there, you know, I was given the mandate to lead all the IT applications for all the functions. And, you know, there I learned how IT works in, say, a
So
supply
that pivot,
chain.
right? So from one vertical to, like you said, the T-shaped career or the breadth. You wanted that role.
Yes. And then I knew, for example, what does IT in HR mean? Or what systems do you need to put in the legal department, or say in finance to do reporting? You know, what are the compliances that a company needs to work with? How do you put robots in a manufacturing plant, and how can they bring efficiency? How do you digitize the supply chain? So all of that I learned in the Indian MNC. And the good thing about Indian MNCs is that all the departments are, you know, under your control. When you work in an international company, you need to coordinate with the headquarters, with the zonal teams, and you can relate to that.
Yes.
Things are much simpler, you know, in an Indian setup, and it was a great learning. And of course, you know, it was all because someone took a chance on me. I still remember when I was in that interview, I told my hiring manager, you know, are you sure you want to hire me? Because I know only sales and marketing tech. I really don't know the entire thing. And he said, yeah, we're pretty sure. And, you know, that's the skill we were looking for. So sometimes I think as women, we want to be really 100% ready before we want to raise our hand.
I've heard that so many times, Kavita, in the last 3-4 months of the prep that we've been doing. That is one consistent theme we've heard, that we want to be 100% ready before we put up our hand and say, I'm ready for this job.
Absolutely.
But also all the women who spoke to us, the other thread is that we all know, we all think about that fact that, okay, maybe we are not 100% ready, but we're also okay to go out there and ask for it, right? I mean, you could have very well chosen to just stay in your role and do whatever you were doing and, you know, continue being the subject matter expert. But you thought, no, I want the breadth, so I have to do something more about it. I think it's meeting of two ends of the spectrum, right? Otherwise, people don't take a bet on others who don't take a bet on themselves.
Absolutely. No? And I think for me, at least, it came with time. It wasn't there on day one, but it came with time.
But do you do it for many others now? Have you also taken a bet on people, or is it something that you like to do?
Always. I think the bet on people is the one which can really turn around your success in a role. And, you know, not that all my bets have been successful.
You win some, you lose some. But
yes, but I try really hard to take that bet on others, which people have taken for me.
Paying it back.
Yes. Actually, it's paying it forward.
It's paying it
Okay,
forward.
yeah.
You can never really pay it
Pay
back.
it back, yeah.
You can always pay it
Pay
forward.
it forward.
So Shriboi, now you are in a role which is 3 continents across the globe, different work times, work zones, etc., etc. So how do you manage? What does your work week, work day look like?
Today, I do a role which spans across Asia, Africa, and Latin America.
My goodness.
So,
Okay, that's a lot of
Do you
time
sleep?
zones.
Do you get time to sleep?
yes, of course. Yeah, I quickly figured out, some clever hacks to manage such things. So, I try to start my day a little late. So I'm never the first one in office. So I maybe reach office by 10 or 11. So I try to do my meetings with the people in office or in my time zone before lunch.
So you have a couple of hours there.
Yes. And then, as Europe starts coming in, and I work for L'Oreal, so the headquarters is in Paris. I try to have my Paris meetings in my afternoon, which is morning for Paris. I have figured out very smartly that Paris lunchtime is a good time to drive home. So between 4:30 to 5:30 or 3:30 to 4:30, because that is also the time when Brazil has not yet come into office. Yeah.
Look at the math.
So that 1 hour is the perfect time to go home. It also helps you beat Mumbai traffic.
Yes.
Then I try to take my Brazil meetings after I reach home. I've also figured out that some of the meetings can be done after dinner. Dinner really energizes your body. So 1 or 2 meetings I try to do after dinner because I feel that, in the evening my energy starts sapping.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy, right?
You just made it sound easy, but
I'm sure it's not so simple as you.
and it also means aligning so many stakeholders to kind of come together on that, right? Because meetings are not one person things.
True.
So, coming back to the roles that you've done, coming back to representation on this side of the table, we don't see too many women CTOs, CIOs, women in tech that much, right? So, what's the kind of bias that you faced? Have you faced any? And growing in your career, what have you seen?
I think women do encounter some of the biases both at home and at work. I think at home you need to be really, really supported. By that I mean that you really need to have a partner who's an equal.
Yeah.
So many times I have seen that as women, we are choosing partners who are probably, when we start out, earning 10x or, a big multiplier of what we do. So in that case, when you start,
So that's the conditioning we've grown up with, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That the man has to be the provider
Breadwinner.
and your career is only the second income. And yes, absolutely. When that happens and when you start a family, and typically when you start a family, you are like, 5 years into your career or 8 years into your career. So that's the point, your career has not really taken off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when you see that difference between the earning, the family often starts to wonder, is the woman's career really worth it? Yeah. Or is it better for the woman to really quit and take care of the children?
Yeah.
Which is why we see, the funnel really,
The middle rung just drops.
It's because of that.
Yeah.
Also, I think being supported at home when you have a family is also very crucial.
Yep.
I have chosen to support myself with my in-laws. I mean, not everyone has that option, but if you have family to support you,
Nothing better.
there's nothing like it. I mean, they grow up with the values that you've grown up with, your children. So I think that helps. So I think the first bias that a woman needs to really cross is at home.
Yeah.
The second bias is at work, actually. And funny enough, I have come across more bias in large companies who have a called out DEI agenda many times the men start to feel isolated because of that. So I've had comments like, "Oh, you cracked that role because they were looking for a woman. Oh, you got this new
Especially
job.
in tech, right?
Yeah, you
Because
got
this is
this
a lot of
new
noise.
job.
Yeah.
It must be a diversity position
Yeah.
that they were looking for." So, and it's very hurtful.
It is.
And but yes, it exists, and you just got to stride on. I
Yeah.
think.
I think it's good to know that none of our listeners are alone in facing that bias, right?
Yeah.
All of us in this car have faced it for sure.
Absolutely, and career is long term.
Absolutely.
When I was starting out, I remember one of my mentors said, "Don't worry, career is long term. It is 40 years. It's difficult to see when you're starting out, but yes, really, career is long
It is.
term, and over that period, such biases can be overcome."
I think the more important thing, like you were saying, is hanging in there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you need to
And,
show up every day.
Yeah. The quitting is easy. It's an easy option because
Yes.
suddenly everybody is looking at you, and you suddenly feel that, oh my god, this guilt, etc., etc. How do I deal with it?
Yes.
Best option is to say, I'm doing it for my child. But then,
Yes.
does that really keep you happy inside?
I don't know. I haven't taken that option, but I can tell you, mommy's guilt is real
It is.
for us who come to office when our children are little.
It is.
But I also see as our children grow, they really are proud of our achievements.
Yeah.
They're proud to have a role model who has an identity of her own.
Yeah.
I remember, so when my daughter was really young, and we had to go for a meeting early in the morning or something, she would cling to my leg and, at the door, Mama, don't go, Mama, don't. And that would be the toughest day.
Yeah.
They will forget about that in 5 minutes. But
Yes.
your whole mind is gone for the day.
That's
Yes.
the image
So
you
you're
carry as you walk out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're so, stressed about it, generally not happy about it.
Yes.
But today, when, of course, my kids are much older now and grown up and all, today when things like this, they'll say, yeah, do well, all the best, I know you'll crack it. So it suddenly just changes over the years, but it's such a big plus to have, that the children understand that, yes, my mom has a life and this is what she does and this is what she's good at.
Absolutely.
So talking about kids and all that, the word balance,
Mhm.
right? What does that mean to you?
They say women can have it all. I also believe women can have it all, but not at the same time. Yeah, you can only prioritize a certain section or a certain priority at that point. Yeah. So, and you need to choose, whether you want to raise your hand for international assignments, tough assignments, or you want to work in something that you've been doing already for the last 2 years or 3 years. You need to take that choice basis where you are right now in your life.
So, also, Shrimoy, in the middle of all this choice, balance, etc., you have a Chevening Fellowship thrown in. So, how do you do that?
Chevening Fellowship is a very good program. It's funded by the Commonwealth, Department of Commonwealth and the Government of UK. So they run this program in many Commonwealth countries, including India. So it's a fellowship available to working professionals who have at least 7 years of work experience. And it's a very I think eye-opening experience. You have an opportunity to study at a UK university for 2 months, and it's all expenses paid, like flights, your housing, your studies, everything. And you have such experiences that you can never possibly have if you were not part of it. So things like visiting Cambridge, visiting their innovation ecosystem. I've even met Princess Annie in person, the sister of King Charles. So such experiences are a part of Chevening Fellowship. Amazing program. The reason to strive for it was to learn something new and to broaden my horizons, to understand what international education really means, or exposure in the innovation ecosystem. So this fellowship was about science and research and innovation. To do research, so I went to Oxford. You know, it was like a dream come true, doing research in Oxford, going to the Bodleian Library and borrowing
Wow.
books. It really opens up your mind
Hmm.
to possibilities. And these are some of the experiences which help you in your clarity of thought, where you want to go, how far can you go.
It's always about pushing those boundaries, right?
Yes,
And you have to be consciously doing it all the time.
yes.
So what's your advice to women in tech and people who are coming into the workforce at this point? Do you think tech careers are long-term careers? What should they build for with the whole tech disruption, AI, etc., coming in? Where do you see this happening, going?
Tech will always be needed. We will always need automation. We will always need to, as humans, not do the same things again and again and let machines take over things which are repeatable. I think the key to success in a tech career is when you know both the tech and the business problem, and you can connect the dots.
One without the other will not help.
Yeah, so you need to be a business leader first, and then apply tech to solving that business problem. And I think that is never going to go out of fashion. It will never get automated. Your ability to connect the dots and to understand where really tech can add value.
It's an important one, right? To say that you have to first understand the business, because see, that is for any function, right? Be it finance, HR, anybody. If you don't understand the business problem, you're never really solving the right things. So that orientation to business, to my mind, is also pretty high on that list.
Yep.
So Srimoyee, we've had a great chat up till now, but one last advice that you'd like to give to our women listeners.
I think be visible. As a woman, it's really very easy to, be in one corner and shrivel up and you don't want attention on yourself. Yeah.
Because you're already dealing with so much, right?
Yes. And that's also kind of conditioning that we are given as girls when we grow up. That don't be out there, don't be visible,
Don't be heard.
don't talk too much,
Yeah.
don't be loud.
You can't be the only person in the room.
Yes. Don't dress in a manner that it attracts attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think being visible is very important in a corporate setup. And funnily enough, whatever we are taught from childhood, many times the opposite really works in the corporate setup. So you really have to be visible. Okay. You really have to talk about what you have delivered. Yeah. Because again, in our culture, they teach you,
Don't tom-tom about
yeah,
yourself.
you should not talk about yourself too much. But opposite really works.
You have to show what
Because
you've
you
done.
have to be your biggest champion.
Yeah.
You have to talk about, what you accomplished, why it was so big. Because no one else knows that.
And we downplay that like so much.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's funny that you will see when women talk about their achievement, they always say, my team helped me to achieve
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And my manager helped me, and I had so many allies.
Yeah.
But when men talk about their achievements, they say, I did it.
I did it.
I did
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So I think that I did it. It really works. So be visible and you can do it.
So thank you so much, Srimoyee, for that. We are not done with you yet. Now we will put you in the driver's seat, metaphorically, of course.
Okay.
And we will ask you some quick questions. So what's the one bold move that you've done in your career so far?
I think pivoted many times.
Like you spoke about the pivot to the roles, right? The I to the T,
Yes.
those kind of things.
To move from a foreign MNC to an Indian
Indian
MNC,
company.
back to a foreign MNC. Yes, I did take many calculated risks.
What's the one tech trend that really excites you?
AI and the possibilities of AI to simplify some of the grunt work that we do today.
But is that going to take away a lot of jobs? That's what we're hearing, right? That's the real scare.
Not really. As a practitioner, when I see it getting used within L'Oreal, it's actually simplifying a lot of grunt work today. Right? If you want to do, for example, you have a lot of data that you want to do analysis on, and you want to identify what is that thing that I really want to focus on. I see so many examples where that work would have taken a person a month's worth of analysis, which today, with the chain of thought method with AI, you can, simplify it into smaller questions, have a conversation, and really narrow it down in a day, what you could have done in a month.
Oh, like that big.
Yes. It's definitely going to improve productivity.
Okay, our next question is one leadership value that you will not compromise on.
I think championing for my people.
Okay.
That is something I will never compromise on.
Because somebody did it for you.
No, I think that's the wind beneath your wings.
Yeah.
That how will you get to the next level if
Yes.
somebody doesn't take
Yes.
that bet on you.
Yes.
Now our next question is one non-negotiable in your daily routine.
Drinking water, hydration.
Have you had enough water today?
The sun
I'll have
is
more.
shining as we speak, so absolutely important.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your go-to de-stress ritual?
Meet my family at the end of the day. Talk to my son about how his day has been. I think talk to my mom while I'm driving home.
That one call is non-negotiable, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It really de-stresses me.
Yes. So we also have a everyday catch-up time, and if that goes a little here or there, then at least one message will come. Is everything okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sick? And that message will come even to my husband. Is she sick? Tell me the truth.
Yeah. Correct. Okay, and our last question is: if you weren't in tech, what would you be doing today?
I think I would have been a doctor.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes.
that's a very, very diverse section from where you are right now.
Because I feel they really do a very meaningful work of saving lives.
Yes.
So if I had one more chance, I would do something which will take humanity further.
Oh my God. So is
Like
there
that.
somebody in your family or somewhere you have as a doctor? Someone
I'm
else?
I'm really trying to inspire my son to do
You will live
something
through his.
that will, possibly make a difference to humanity. Let's
There's
see.
a lot of studying.
Well, we need to keep upskilling ourselves in every job.
That's
let's
true.
say.
That's
So
That's true.
I don't think
We are not running away from learning.
Yes, we cannot anymore.
Yeah, you're right. We can't run away from learning. And on that note, I'm sure our listeners will have a lot of important takeaways from this conversation, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And that's a wrap on season 1 of People Connects Women at Work. We are very thankful to our sponsors, luxury partner Mercedes-Benz Landmark Cars, and our styling partner Vero Moda for this amazing season.
Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. To get all episodes of this season, you can tune into Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any other channel that you look to for your podcast. Thank you.